What is up, peeps? I've been on a long hiatus, just getting some work stuff figured out and getting laid off, stuff like that. Not too serious, but we are back, and we're gonna start on a game. We're gonna start on a new game. The game is gonna be called Betelgeuse for now. It's the working title. It's a space game. I got some little references down there, as you can see, like a grapple hook looking thing and a ship, even like inside cockpit view. But basically, we're gonna make the ship, and start with that. Start getting some things done in Unreal Engine after the ship is completely made. Once we have a mesh that we can mess around with, things will start to come together pretty quickly. My goal for this series is to learn a lot about game development. Hopefully, put out a first product in a short amount of time. I'm gonna give it about 2 months to see if I can just knock this out, and hopefully do hopefully create a little community around this where we can test the game, play it, kind of talk back and forth on what should be in it and things like that. Here's a model of something else I was working on. Some nice toon shading on it. Taking a look real quick. There's the reference that I used. I don't know who the artist was, but got it from Pinterest. So just taking a quick look, trying to see the type of quality that we might want in the ship. I always do this. Take a look at the previous sculpt that I did, no matter what I'm making, just to try to see if there's anything I can improve on generally. But this is the type of art style that I'm gonna be going for in the game. Very toon shaded, very stylized for most assets, for characters as well. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's go jump into making this thing. Throw down the references. I'm just going to use front, top, side views and knock it out that way. But this isn't live, of course. I've already done it. So I'm talking over some past footage of me making this thing. So it makes it a lot more relaxing for me just to talk and kind of separate the work of actually making it rather than talking about it, because doing both at the same time is, I mean, it's possible. I'm just not too focused on one or the other when I'm doing that. So, or maybe I'm more focused on sculpting than I am on talking. So I kind of have long periods of time where I just don't say anything at all. So this is sort of how I'm going to do it for the entire series. Here's me just mapping everything out, getting everything in, basic shaping for the body. Want to get this done pretty quick. Not too important to make this super beautiful, because this is only the Mark 1 anyway. And this game, fun thing about it, it's going to have mechs, not just ships. So I'm thinking mechs, ships that turn into mechs, space stations, weird alien technology, UFOs, all kind of stuff. I want to make a definitive experience for like space simulation. It's gonna be not just a space experience, but like a Dark Souls situation as well, where there is an element of grinding and exploring a map, trying to find every little nook and cranny of a map, of a biome, finding loot, things that can upgrade your ship or mech to be more capable in new situations. Boss fights are very important. One of the main influences for fights and bosses and things is Star Fox 64. Your bullets are very satisfying. Blowing things up is extremely satisfying. The boss fights really focus on just shooting and moving around. You don't have to focus on like following the boss. Everything's perfect. Everything in Star Fox is pretty much perfect. If they made a new Star Fox today, like I know that there's been new Star Foxes, like several actually, but if they really dug in and put the work in, what would that look like? What would a real new Star Fox look like? Where they wanted, like, if they put enough work in that they wanted everybody to now play this, like, okay, no, this is the definitive Star Fox game. What would that look like? Is my question. So, in asking myself that, I was thinking, why not just make a space game? Why not make one myself and just see what happens, you know? I got a few skills over the years of just chilling, working in Unreal Engine and Blender whenever I'm not at work. So all this accumulated knowledge, I might as well put it into something cool, you know? So the inspiration is Star Fox. One of the other inspirations for combat, once we start getting in the mech stuff, combat inspiration is Hollow Knight. I really want it to be snappy and simple, but also manipulatable to the point where you can get some cool scenes going just by pressing one button to attack and maybe one button to block, and that's it. I just want it to be simple. And then the shooting is going to be just as simple as well, where you just, you know, press one button. I want you to be able to aim pretty easily. Lock on is going to be a thing, so there's no huge barrier to entry when it comes to dogfighting. And here I am making the flight sticks. Flight sticks are going to be pretty interesting in the game because I'm using a separate blueprint for them, and you will be able to change things out, like the interior of your ship or mech or whatever you want to pilot. You can call your mech from any location is what I'm thinking. It shouldn't really matter. Just like a horse in Zelda or any other game, you should be able to just press a button and your ship comes to you. That's it. It can fly down to the planet, park. I want you to be able to put your ship in orbit too. If you don't want it to be like parked on the planet or landed on the planet, you can just put it in an orbit. It'll use minimal thrust to stay in a like a reasonable orbit. Once it finds its like orbit point, like locked orbit point, it'll just turn off its thrust and stay. So I've already been thinking about the math for that. Another thing is scale. So the mechs are going to be pretty huge, especially like transformable mechs and things like that. They're going to be pretty huge. The scale may be like 10 meters or something like that. So that being the case, I want to have that scale matter. Like when you land on a planet or land near someone, it should really have a huge impact, especially if you're in mech form and you land on your feet. You should be able to switch back and forth mech to ship pretty easily, just with a flick of a switch. And doing so, I'm thinking switching back and forth and doing everything in the game should cost something. That's the way that it could feel mechanical and methodical. Everything costs something, but it's not as if you're going to be running out of resources on a mission. Your resources should last whatever your playtime is. Not to say it matches any playtime, but I'm gonna test this out and just see if I can make resources last like 30 minutes to an hour or something, like a good significant amount of time. That way you're not just constantly looking for more resources, constantly trying to. Honestly, 30 minutes to an hour is a little bit short too. Maybe 2 hours, 3 hours might be best. But that's another idea. What else is going to be in the game? The main threat. Might as well talk about that a bit. That's I'm thinking of like an AI threat, like a mechanical cold computer enemy. So the galaxy is at threat, or the entire universe is at threat of some sort of AI. And the way that those will look is just really gray, mechanical, red lights for their, like red LEDs for their eyes and stuff like that. Familiar is the word for it. So you'll immediately be able to understand who's the enemy, who's not. Just shoot them. And there's going to be dismemberment for ships and things. Shooting it in the right areas and stuff. So that's all going to be in. Finding new ships. I was thinking of a scene of finding like an abandoned mech, like a really expensive one or something, but it's like laying out in the grass somewhere out in the forest, like abandoned completely, and you can just either like fix it up and take it, or just like tractor beam it somewhere or something. As you can see, we're sort of finishing up here. Looks like the ship is pretty much done. I mean, I'm gonna do a mech version of a drivable machine too. So this is just step one, but pretty clean. I'm pretty satisfied. I mean, it's shaded. It has an interior. It has the like flight sticks. What more could you ask for? So I think we're ready for testing. We'll do that in the next video. But at the end of this, of course, I'll show you just a snippet preview of what that's gonna look like in Unreal Engine. But we'll throw this thing in here. We'll put some thruster logic on there, see if we can get that going. First person, third person. Might just work in third person for now. And then switch over to first person once we start really getting into the mech stuff and things like that too. We'll do more detail on the mesh itself, messing around with things like rust and just wear and tear. I do want to have like some advanced materials for that could add that to your ship or mech, depending on conditions. So it'd be cool if you could pull up somewhere with like an older looking machine, you know, but it's actually older. It looks older because of your gameplay. Like your ship can start to look like you've been using it for a while. And here's a little preview. We're gonna get the ship to fly once we get into Unreal Engine. So I'll do a slow down tutorial on that and really show you all the logic that I'm using to achieve this. It is using a thruster, is using thrusters. I mean, it's using all thrusters and torque applied to the ship body. But in actuality, what you want to do is apply it to a character, like a character pawn, or not a character pawn, a character capsule. This is currently using a pawn BP, but I want to use a character BP is what I mean. But all the logic will be the same. Literally no changes. What is next after this? Yeah, after we get this done, we're going to jump into the mechs. Try to figure out how we want a ship to transform into a mech. I'm thinking the best reference to that is going to be Macross. There's no better ship to mech transformation situation than Macross. And I think we know that. Transformers is cool and all, but it's not Macross. So I'm gonna take a look. I'm actually gonna watch Macross. I've never seen it before. I've only ever seen like reference photos. So I'm gonna watch the entire anime and let that be my inspiration for how we're gonna handle this. But yes, if you have anything, please leave a comment below. If you have any suggestions for the video, if you have any suggestions for the game, please let me know. if there's anything you want to see in it or things you don't want to see in the game. Let me know that too. But anyways, it's been fun. Thanks for hanging out for a little bit. Hopefully every video is going to be as long as this one. And yeah, hopefully you like this type of thing. You know, I just want something that you can kind of sit back and chill, watch some game development, see it come together within a couple of months, one step at a time, and have something to play. It's going to be free to play too. I'm not gonna sell it for any money. But all right, talk to you later.